Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Sports Action with Jackson, aka Clutch Covered Sports. I'm here with Braden right now. We're about to break down the ACC, SEC, and Big 12 conference tournaments, and we'll probably talk a little bit outside of that on what certain teams need to do to get into the field of 64. Braden, let's start with the SEC. This first matchup starting off at 9:30, you got the 9 seed Alabama playing the 16 seed Missouri. I know that name kind of haunts you a little bit, but let's hear it. What's your thoughts on this first game?
Hey, if Missouri plays anything like they did against A&M, they could win this one. But Alabama, they should run away with the game because really they're on the line of hosting. I think 2 wins here in tournament play solidifies a host spot, but one's going to make them look pretty good. So I think they pick up the dub against Missouri. And then if they win another game, they'd have to play Tennessee. Then they'll definitely host if they can pick that win up. But just looking at that first game, yeah, Missouri, they obviously only have 3 wins, all to A&M. But yeah, Bama looks like the much better team. I think they roll at 9:30 in the morning.
Yeah, I know Bama kind of struggled a little bit when they played Missouri earlier on in the season. They had a game, I think it was the Friday game, where it was tied pretty much the whole game. I think Missouri might have been leading actually for part of that game. Unfortunately, Missouri couldn't get the dub, and Bama ended up, sweeping that series. I'm with you, man. I'd be very surprised if Missouri won this. I know, they had that crazy win over A&M. I mean, sweep, but like that was wild. But I mean, dude, I think Bama, like you said, they're on the verge of hosting. Do I think they're going to host? Honestly, no. I don't think they deserve to host, but I mean, that's up to the committee. Bama's got some good bats, man. They can hit the ball out of the park. I mean, could be. I don't know how well their fan base is going to travel for this, but I mean, if they want it, I mean, it's right in their backyard in Hoover, Alabama. So I don't know how many fans will be out there for a 9:30 game versus Missouri, but that is something to think about. Yeah, I mean, Bama hasn't been great in midweeks. They've kind of struggled. Like, they've won their games, but I know they've had some really close calls. Missouri, on the other hand, I mean, they've kind of struggled all year long in whatever game they play. So I'm with you there. I'd be very surprised if Alabama lost to Missouri. So I'm with you there. Give me the Tide. Moving on to the next round 1 matchup right after will be the 12 seed Oklahoma versus the 13 seed Kentucky. And this match honestly is pretty interesting to me because you get a team like Kentucky who really can beat anybody on any given day. I mean, Vanderbilt, they really could have won that series. Honestly, they could have probably swept. They had 2 back-to-back walk-off wins. Vanderbilt did over Kentucky. And I mean, man, Kentucky was just a pitch away from taking those games, So that would have been a really big series win. Kentucky had a win over Texas earlier on in the season. Oklahoma, on the other hand, I mean, they've got a really good pitching staff, but, I mean, they can't hit the ball very well. And that's kind of been, like, their problem. And they had a win over Texas, but, the other 2 games, I mean, their pitching just couldn't get it done for them. And I really don't think we're going to see Kyson either on a Tuesday night game. I think both teams are pretty much in the tournament. I mean, neither's going to host, but who do you think takes this game? Yeah. Why?
Yeah, I think if, I plan to sit on the couch and watch all these games, but if I had something to do, I'd schedule it this time. I don't enjoy this matchup. These are 2 of the teams that I'm the lowest on in the SEC. I've kind of said it all year. OU, I'm not a big fan of. I don't think they can hit the ball. Well, I know they can't hit the ball. In Kentucky, I know that they should be in the field, but I'm not seeing why. If I didn't have a record and I just looked at the team, I don't think they're a very good baseball team. There's games they show up and they look like Missouri level ball, but then there's games that you mentioned they beat Texas. So this is just a coin flip game to me. I think Kentucky has the edge just because how bad OU is at hitting and how their pitching staff may not show up. They might throw a midweek guy because they're already in the field. And, I think Kentucky wins this one pretty easily, but I think either team gets killed by Georgia in the next round.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of crazy to say that Kentucky has been weak this year. I mean, they haven't been, like they were last year, but dude, Kentucky's a good baseball team, bro. You put them in the Big 12, I think they're the best team in the Big 12. They're in the ACC. I think they're a top 4 team in the ACC. I think this Kentucky team is scrappy, and I think they know how to win baseball games. They've lost some, yeah, sure. They're not in LSU, in Arkansas, Texas, but man, they gave Texas hell when they played. They gave Vanderbilt hell when they've played, and all year they've been competitive in every series they've played in. In the SEC, it's hard to win. So I disagree completely. Now, Oklahoma, I agree. They can't hit the ball, but their pitching keeps them in games. But Kentucky, I mean, they're a small ball baseball team, and I understand your hatred towards them because, I mean, the way they played y'all, I mean, that was kind of wild, the way that final game ended, I mean, I would be really mad if I were you, but you know what? I'm not you. So I'm here to say on the non-biased sort of things, I think Kentucky's a good baseball team, and I think they could potentially make some noise in this tournament too. I agree with you. I think Kentucky's going to win this game over Oklahoma. If Oklahoma won, would I be surprised? No. But I think Kentucky, they can make a case for themselves, maybe get themselves in as a 2 seed. I mean, they're not able to host, but I mean, I don't know. If they won the SEC tournament, I think a lot of heads would turn. Not saying they're going to win it because I don't think they will, but yeah, I think Kentucky's got a good shot to win this game. And I'd keep an eye on them maybe to make a little run in this tournament. So yeah, give me the Wildcats on this one. I think it's going to be a close game. I think Kentucky's going to probably pull away a little bit earlier. I mean, I don't know. I think it also depends on who's on the mound for Oklahoma because Oklahoma really has struggled in some of these midweek games. I mean, they got blown out by DBU twice. And most of these teams outside of like A&M and maybe South Carolina are going to throw their guys who usually throw on Tuesdays. They're not going to throw a starter on short rest unless they're playing for their season. And so neither of these teams you're going to see either ace on the mound. So, yeah, I got the Wildcats as well. Next up, we got Florida, South Carolina. I mean, I'd be very surprised if South Carolina even came close to winning this game. I mean, I don't know if you have other thoughts. I know Paul Maneri, when he was at LSU, we could win the tournament at any point in time. I mean, Paul Maneri loves playing in the SEC tournament. Like, he's talked about that. But that was when he was in Baton Rouge. That was when he was an LSU head coach. He's at South Carolina now. And it has been the polar opposite of when he was at LSU. They just have not been able to win games. They didn't look bad at the beginning of the season. I mean, I remember me and you were kind of high on South Carolina. We thought they were going to be a decent team. Like, we didn't think they were going to be like the front runners or anything, but like we put them in that kind of like upper level SEC tier bracket point, and they kind of really disappointed us. They weren't as good as we thought. They also had a lot of injuries that hurt them. So yeah, what do you think? I kind of think it's going to be Florida, but what do you think?
Yeah, I think especially as of late, I'm taking Florida here. They can just they flat out rake. I mean, the bats have been so hot for them lately. South Carolina did beat LSU one of the games in the last series, so it's something you could look at. But I mean, with they're 6-24 in SEC play, and Florida's 15-15. They're the much better team. I got Florida. I mean, I think they win big in this game, actually, just because of how hot they've been lately. So, yeah, I'm taking the Gators.
And, I mean, another thing about South Carolina, I mean, that you could look at, but it hasn't really helped them all year. But, I mean, if you believe in splits, I mean, South Carolina has a lot of left-handed pitchers, and, I mean, that could come in their favor because I know the SEC hasn't really hit great in general on left-handed pitchers, but when they play South Carolina, they seem to do hit well. So, I don't know. I mean, maybe if you believe in splits, maybe that's something to look at. But other than that, I mean, in my opinion, Florida's the hottest team in baseball, and I don't really think it's going to be any different tomorrow. So, yeah, give me the Gators. Chomp, chomp. Moving on. We got Mrs. matchup of the day. Mississippi State and A&M. We got a team who's just fired their head coach, completely turned it around. I mean, bats are rolling. Pitching has looked a lot better than earlier on in the season. I mean, they've really started to kind of gel, So I think you could like you got guys like Hunter Hine who just hit the ball out of the park. And I mean, I haven't looked at the weather, but if the wind tends to kind of blow out, around this time in Hoover, so that could really come into play for them. But then you got a team like A&M who, on paper, is probably one of the best rosters in college baseball. Their bullpen's kind of struggled, but A&M's also one of those teams that could beat anybody on any given day. It's just like they're so hot and cold. So I think this is going to be a really interesting matchup. I want to hear your thoughts before I share mine. I have a feeling we might disagree on who wins this game, but who do you think wins this game?
Yeah, I'll kind of break it down first. From the A&M perspective, they're probably going to roll with Prager on the mound. He only threw 55 pitches on Thursday against Georgia. I think he throws in a must-win game here. And then you got some question marks. Caden Sorrell goes out with an injury against Georgia in the first game, doesn't return the rest of the series, and we don't really hear any news about that. So there's a big question mark there if he plays. If not, they might have to roll with the freshman Sawyer Farr, who's batting around 145 on the season. So obviously a big downgrade if Sorrell's out. But, A&M, they have so many question marks because Lavalette has struggled, big time as of late. He's down to about 260 batting average, and he's a guy that should be hitting 360. It's a big swing. From a coaching perspective, too, maybe you even look at dropping Jace down in the order because there is a hole right there at the second spot. You got a guy like Caden Kent gets on, and then there's a hole, and then Hensler and Cash are hot. So I maybe think about shifting the lineup around and maybe moving Jace down. But I'm going to take A&M in the game. But it's going to be a slugfest because, like you said, Mississippi State has the home run leader and then a current active home run leader, and then Jason White Hensler are 2-3. So it's going to be a slugfest here if the bats can get going. But I also could see Texas A&M winning the whole tournament. So it's from a fan perspective, but it's also from these dudes are playing for their season. They're the preseason number one. I think they can get it done, but I could also see them getting run with in the first game. So big question mark for A&M, but I'm gonna back them against the Bulldogs.
Yeah, you're bringing up good points. I think you can make a case for A&M, and I think this is probably going to be one of the hardest games to bet on. But I'm going to ride the hot hand here. I'm going to go with the Bulldogs. I think State is playing a really high-level baseball, and I think you could put them in that conversation with Florida as a team that you really don't want to play right now. It was kind of funny how, I don't know, what was it, 2-3 weeks ago, we were talking about when they fired their coach. We were like, well, what do they do now? Well, they kind of just gave us a big FU, and, they've been winning games now. So, I don't know. I think they're going to win that game, and I think State's another team that we could see potentially make a run in this tournament too. So, yeah, A&M could win, but I think on the safer side, you should take Mississippi State in this one. That's just my opinion. I'm sure a lot of people will disagree with me, but yeah, it's going to be a very good game either way, especially if Prager's on the mound. And if Prager throws like he can, Prager's been so off and on this year. It's really been hard to tell when he's on the mound, But if he goes in there and pitches like we know he can, yeah, A&M could very well win this game. But I don't know. I don't think he's going to do that. I think Mississippi State, they have a really good hitting team. They just hit the ball really well. What are they, second in the SEC in batting average? Yeah, they get on base and they make plays. And that's I don't know. I think in Hoover, if you can hit the ball, I think hitting in Hoover is a lot more important than pitching because we're going to see a lot of different arms this weekend from a lot of different teams. So, yeah, give me the Bulldogs. Moving on, we both had Bama playing Tennessee. This will be a Wednesday game. So, who do you think takes this one?
Yeah, I've kind of said it all year. Anytime Tennessee's on the board, I'm taking them to absolutely blow out the opponent just because I think that's how good Tennessee's potential is. But you look at Bama again, the home team playing for their seed and trying to get a host spot. I don't know. It's going to be a tough game because the Vols, they didn't really look too great against Arkansas. They hit the ball really well, but especially in that last game, they kind of just folded. They kind of just gave up after Arkansas had 8 runs. And I don't know. Tennessee looks like the best team. I'm a big Hunter Hensley fan. I'm going to back Tennessee in the game because they should win, but you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, Bama, like we've talked about, on the verge of hosting, but Tennessee's one of those teams. If they pop off and win in Hoover, we'll see them as a top 16 team. We know how much the committee loves the Vols. So, I mean, man, Tennessee's kind of right there in the same spot as Alabama, maybe a little bit not as high because of all, what are they, 5 or 6 series in a row they've dropped? But Tennessee is the team that you don't want to get hot, especially this time in the year, because whenever they were hot at the beginning of the year, they had the best program start in program history. This team is a good baseball team. Don't let the record fool you. I mean, and another thing that I want to throw out at you, which is kind of crazy. I know we talked about this yesterday off air, but other than South Carolina and Missouri, Tennessee has the most SEC series losses. Granted, they've played a really tough schedule. I mean, having to play Arkansas, LSU, A&M, Alabama. I mean, they're playing tough teams. Vanderbilt. Like, they've had a really tough schedule, a schedule that a lot of teams haven't had to play. I mean, Texas has not had that tough of a schedule. I'm not taking away anything from UT. I think they were the clear-cut number one the way they played this year. But, I mean, if you want to hold up who they've played, I can make an argument that maybe A&M or Tennessee would have the same record as UT right now. I don't know. But, yeah, I think Tennessee is going to win this one. And Tennessee plays under Vitello. Tennessee plays really well in Hoover. I mean, they usually play well all year, right? But I think this could be the game that Tennessee gets rolling, And I think it's a perfect time of the year as well. So give me the Vols. And honestly, I don't really know if it's going to be that close of a game either. I think Tennessee kind of goes up there, and I think he takes spread here. I think they come out, and I think they hit the ball out of the ballpark. I think they throw up some zeros, and I think we see a pretty dominant Tennessee win here. Moving on, we both had Kentucky in this one playing Georgia. Who do you think wins this one?
Yeah, I think it doesn't really matter who plays Georgia here between Oklahoma and Kentucky. Georgia's going to roll them. You talk about hitting being a very important part in Hoover. Georgia's your team. I know you've kind of been kind of low on this Georgia team, but they got Zabo back. He's a 370 hitter, hitting 20 bombs in the season. And then they got 5 guys hitting over 315. So they definitely have the bats. Their pitching is very wild. They walk a lot of guys. So maybe Kentucky, if they're patient, play small ball. They could make a case. But Georgia's just much more dominant here. I'm going to take the Bulldogs.
Yeah, I completely disagree. They played a series earlier this year. All 3 games were kind of toss-ups. Kentucky lost the series, but, I mean, man, they were, like I said earlier, a couple pitches, a couple hits away from taking that series. I know it's baseball. You could say that about any team, but I'm going to kind of go off on a limb here, and I'm going to think I think the Wildcats are going to win this game, actually. I think small ball, like you said, Georgia walks a lot of people, and, yeah, they have the ability to hit it out of the ballpark, but Kentucky pitching isn't terrible. And I don't know. I think Kentucky's going to win this. I think it'll be a close game, but, I mean, if they can just get people on base, I mean, that's what they do best. They get people on base and they get them in. I mean, they're not the team that scores 8 runs in an inning, but, they get that 1 or 2 or sometimes 3, runs an inning, and then, that's what they do. They kind of scratch and claw. They're like a Georgia Tech, I know you don't like Georgia Tech. We'll talk about them later. But, yeah, I think Kentucky can win this game, and I think they do win this game. I mean, not all the favorites are going to win in Hoover. Something crazy is going to happen, and I think the Wildcats are going to be the first one to shock everybody in Hoover. And I think the Wildcats take this game. Moving on, we have Florida versus Ole Miss. Who do you think wins this one?
Gators. Decisively, dude. Like, Ole Miss is decent ball club. I think they're a little – their record is 16-14, but I think they're a little over that. They've had a pretty easy schedule. They've looked good at times, but Florida, you said it already, hottest team in baseball right now. I think they roll here. I think they could even make more noise than just beating Ole Miss, but we'll talk about that in a sec.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you, dude. Ole Miss could beat Florida. I don't think they will, but they could. I mean, look at this weekend against Auburn. I mean, they kind of whooped up on Auburn, and Auburn's another team that you could name as one of the hottest teams in baseball right now. Auburn's been very well the back half of the season, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think Florida is just not a team you want to play right now, and their pitching has gotten a lot deeper, and they've been able to hit the ball out of the park. And Coach Sully is known for his performances in Hoover. Florida does well in Hoover. They're like a Tennessee, They do well in Hoover. They go long. They know how to win games. They can win close games. So, yeah, give me the Gators here. Moving on, you said A&M. I said Mississippi State. So, let's go here. Let's say in your scenario, A&M beats Mississippi State and they're playing Auburn. What happens in this Auburn A&M matchup?
Yeah, this is kind of like, I don't know. Let me compare it. Basketball, Steph Curry, let's say he goes 0 for 8. The ninth shot goes in. He sees one goes through. He heats up. I think that's what happens here. I think Texas A&M, they've struggled as of late. They're 1-5 in their last 6, but they see one go through against Mississippi State. I think they roll the Tigers. I think they roll Auburn. I think they're going to get some things figured out. Lavalette, I think he's going to finally get something figured out. And I think against Auburn, they had both teams, they didn't play each other in the regular season. And Auburn they don't hit that. I mean, they have only 4 guys hitting over 300, but those 4 guys are stars, but they don't hit the long ball well. And I think A&M's biggest problem pitching is they do give up a ton of long balls. So that's okay. I think Texas A&M beats Auburn here. But then I think if it was Mississippi State, I think Auburn wins.
Yeah. I'm gonna, yeah. All right, moving on here to where I have Mississippi State playing Auburn. I think Mississippi State's gonna beat Auburn as well. But I think it's gonna be a good game. I mean, Auburn's a good baseball team. They really are. Auburn was a team that, I talked about earlier in the season potentially being in Omaha, and I still do think on that. They're going to host. They don't really have anything to play for. Maybe double hosting, right? But either way, they're still already hosting no matter what. And I think Mississippi State's kind of a team that they are already kind of in, but I mean, they kind of do need to make a good showing as well. So I think Mississippi State can hit the ball really well, and I think they're playing for something right now. The whole world has doubted this Mississippi State team. So I've got them actually moving on to play the LSU Tigers after they beat Auburn. Moving on.
Well, hold on. What do you think if A&M beats Mississippi State? What do you think about them playing Auburn?
Okay, yeah. That's when I was like kind of going to veer into that, but then I was like, maybe I should talk about Mississippi State more. Good. Thank you to bring that back up. They haven't played each other this year. I don't know. Because Auburn is like the kind of team that can – I mean, they swept LSU this year. They're a good baseball team. And not taken away from A&M. A&M could, like we've talked about, A&M realistically could beat anybody if they were on that day, if they get hot. And they are playing for something. So – I mean, I don't know who wins this game, honestly. Maybe the Aggie. If the Aggies go in there and make a good showing against Mississippi State, they play like the Aggie team we all thought they were. I mean, yeah, I think they can make some noise, and I think they could beat Auburn. I mean, I think Auburn got a really tough draw with these 2 teams right here because you're playing 2 teams that can hit the ball really well and are really tough teams to put away. I mean, you're leading these teams. You can't take your foot off the gas pedal when you're playing Mississippi State or A&M. You got to kind of keep hammering them down, So I don't know, but Auburn's also a team that they really can get out ahead of you, and you can't. It's kind of hard to catch up to them too. But I mean, I don't know. I think it all depends on the mound. But I think if A&M goes in there and they throw Lampkin, I mean, I don't know. Is Lampkin going to be able to throw on Wednesday? Or did he? How many pitches did he throw? Or how deep?
120.
120.
He threw 120. I mean, he threw a complete game, 15 Ks.
Okay, yeah, that was
120 pitches. So I think,
I don't think we'll see Lampkin. That'd be really, y'all would just really have to trust y'all's bats.
Well, I think they might throw. They might go Weston Moss, who's been our closer.
Yeah, he's done really well this season.
If he doesn't have to pitch, I guess in that first game, he can throw up to about 55, 60 pitches. He's kind of a long relief guy, but we've used him in a closer spot. He could pitch then. If they survive that, then you get Lampkin against LSU. I'm not too worried about the pitching, but they're going to have to hit if they're going to want to win games here.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, this is a tough matchup because they haven't played, and Auburn and A&M are very similar in the fact that on any given day, I mean, they're like Kentucky. On any given day, they can beat anybody. A&M at one point was the hottest team in the season until they played Missouri, right? And then I kind of thought they were going to beat Georgia. They could have, but they didn't. So I think if A&M beats Mississippi State, I think Mississippi State is better than both Auburn and A&M. I'm going to say that right now, but I think if they beat Mississippi State, I think they beat Auburn too. So whoever wins this Mississippi State A&M game, I think you can pencil in as making it to the third round. I'm not taking away from Auburn. Auburn, if they win this game, don't be mad at us, right? Auburn, we know Auburn could win these games. Auburn is a good baseball team, but this is Hoover. Anything can happen. And I think these two teams, I think Mississippi State, A&M, and Florida are the three teams from the first day games that can make a run in this tournament, So I do. I think that A&M or Mississippi State, I think they both get past Auburn. Obviously, I think it's Mississippi State. You think it's A&M. That'll be a really fun game to watch. But moving on here, we both had Tennessee going in and playing UT. And this game also hasn't happened all year. I think I'm very, very interested to see what could happen on this game. Also, this game will be played on Thursday because the way it's going to go is the Texas and Vanderbilt are scheduled for Thursday, and LSU and Arkansas are scheduled for Friday as far as their respective sides of the bracket. So keep that in mind because a team like Mississippi State or A&M is going to have an extra day of rest, going in versus Tennessee's going back to back to back, right? So who do you think is going to win this Texas and Tennessee baseball game?
This is not an anti-Texas pick at all. I think Tennessee, is there a run rule in the SEC tournament?
No way. Yeah, there is, but no way.
It's not. Okay, listen. Tennessee is the only UT. Texas is TU. Tennessee is the only UT. Texas is number one. They're locked in. They're going to be the top seed in the whole thing. Tennessee, they want to host. I think they run through Texas. Texas didn't even play Tennessee. They don't know what a good offense is. They just played A&M, OU. Like their last series have been cakewalks. I think Tennessee obliterates Texas here. I'm going to go 5 runs or better.
Obliterates?
Yeah, dude. There's nothing that I like about the Texas ball club.
This has been consistently one of the number one teams in baseball all year. The clear-cut favorite. They've won the SEC. I don't think they get obliterated here. Could they win? Yeah. Could they win? Definitely. Tennessee can win as well. I think this is going to be a really good game. I don't think it's going to be one-sided either way. It's going to be probably Ruger Riojas pitching for Texas and throwing for Tennessee's maybe going to be Liam Doyle. I know he threw on Friday, but Tennessee's playing to host, so they know if they get this win. Liam Doyle's a top 3 pitcher in baseball, right? So I think if we see that Ruger Riojas and Liam Doyle matchup, I do think Tennessee wins. But
Tennessee won't touch Liam Doyle. They will score 0 runs.
0.
They can't. Dude, Texas, like watching Texas play, if I was a Texas fan, I would not enjoy being a Texas fan because of how how good they are does not correlate to how well they hit at all.
Dude, Tennessee got dominated against Arkansas. I mean, they won the first game, but the other two, Arkansas put the foot on the gas. And I mean, Arkansas did the same thing to UT. Don't get me wrong. But, dude, you can't act like Tennessee's just miles ahead of Texas. I know Texas can't hit well right now.
Tennessee had 40 hits in that Arkansas series. Sure, they didn't pitch well, but 40 hits in 3 games. I mean, that's insane. I mean, they're obviously going to open up with Bama. They're going to get the ball rolling. They're going to beat Texas by a long shot.
I don't think it's going to be a long shot. I mean, I could see Tennessee winning, but dude, Texas can look. Maybe I'll eat my words here. Maybe they will get beat bad because Tennessee can do that. I mean, I'm not arguing with you there that they can't do it. But just go out and just openly say that, I think it's kind of crazy because, dude, Texas is a good baseball team. They're coming off of a series win against Oklahoma. I know you're not high on Oklahoma, but Oklahoma's not a bad baseball team. I mean, they beat Kyson. And they only scored a couple, what was it, 3 run? No, I think it was 3, maybe a little bit less on Kyson. But, man, dude, I don't know who's going to win this game. I think it depends on who pitches, and I think it depends on how hot Tennessee is because Texas just got Blue back. And Blue, earlier on in the season, was one of their hottest hitters. You know, they've got guys like Gasparino who, I mean, he hit 4 home runs against, I know it was Missouri, but he's like a Jared Jones. He shows he can hit the ball out of the park, and he's not a hitter you want to see hot, you know? I mean, Galvin, you know, their catcher, he can hit the ball really well. I mean, you got Flores. He can hit the ball really well. They're in a slump right now, but their offense isn't terrible. I mean, trust me, I went and saw them play LSU. That team is a good baseball team. So to say that they get, like, run ruled or obliterated, I think is crazy. Now, with that being said, give me the Vols, baby. Give me the Vols. I think the Vols win this matchup. I was going to bat for them earlier. You know, I don't think they get dominated, but it's Hoover, Alabama. The Vols are playing to host. If they get hot, I think they could beat UT. But at the same time, I don't know, because last time William Doyle threw, Arkansas shelled them. So I think it all depends on who's on the mound for Tennessee. And I think if Tennessee can hit, I mean, you also got to think UT is the best pitching staff in college baseball right now. And that's another thing we got to think about here. So this has got probably a game I'm going to stay away from. If you're talking betting wise, if I were somebody, I would stay away from this game. But for drama's sake, I think Tennessee is going to win this game. And I think if they do win this game, then I think we start talking about Tennessee potentially maybe hosting again. I don't know. I still think they're on that bubble. But, I mean, their team, if they get hot, I think the committee knows it's not a team you want to play. And I would hate to get a hot Tennessee team as my 2 seed. Moving on, you've got Georgia against Vanderbilt. I've got Kentucky against Vanderbilt. Who do you think is going to win this Vanderbilt-Georgia matchup?
Vanderbilt is a roller coaster team for me. Super high on them, then was super low, then back to high. Now I'm just the ride's over. I'm done. I'm done with this Vanderbilt team. I got Georgia. Not decisively or anything because Vanderbilt's still good. But Georgia, dude, they not that A&M played good because they really didn't play that well, but Georgia can hit the ball. Like, I don't know. I think Georgia is the third best hitting team in the SEC behind Arkansas and LSU. The top 4, yeah, I would say the top 4 hitting teams are Arkansas, LSU, Georgia, and Tennessee. Maybe even Florida as of late. But Georgia can hit the ball. That's the point. I got them beating Vanderbilt. But I do think Vanderbilt would beat Kentucky or Oklahoma, whoever that would be.
Can I go back on a pick here? Because
let's hear it. I mean,
I think Texas is going to beat Tennessee. I'm sorry. I'm sitting here thinking I think UT is going to beat the Vols. I've been so off and on, but I was just thinking while you were talking. Dude, I'm going to ride Ruger Riojas, and I'm going to ride these horns. I do. I think they're going to beat Tennessee. I know I said the Vols earlier, but pretend I never said that. I think the Longhorns are going to win. Anyways, back to this. I know I didn't mean to throw it back in that conversation, but I was just thinking, and it's like it was eating me up inside. So Yeah, I do. I think Texas is going to beat Tennessee here. Anyways, continue. You think Georgia's going to beat Vanderbilt? Is that what you just said? Sorry, I was.
I think Georgia beats Vandy. I think Vandy beats Oklahoma or Kentucky.
Yeah, man, I agree. I don't. I think if Kentucky wins, I'd be very surprised if. I mean, I don't know because they beat Vanderbilt. They lost the series, but they beat Vanderbilt. I think if Kentucky gets past Georgia, I think depending on what arms they throw, I mean, man, dude, I think this is tough, but I think Tennessee on short rest does get the job done against Kentucky. But I agree. If Georgia gets past Kentucky, I think Georgia could beat Vanderbilt, but I don't think they will. I think Vanderbilt's going to beat Georgia or Kentucky, whoever they play. I'm not high on Vanderbilt, but I'm also not high on Georgia either. And Kentucky, I think, getting 2 solid wins, and then you're kind of in a spot where you're going back to back to back. You're probably going to be, I don't know what they're going to do arm wise, but they're probably going to be throwing their ace, I would assume. I don't know. Even then, though, Kentucky or Vanderbilt will have had 4 days rest, and literally Kentucky went from playing Sunday to playing on Tuesday to Wednesday and then Thursday. I just don't see them being able to win that game. So yeah, I think Vanderbilt beats Kentucky, and I think Vanderbilt beats Georgia too, honestly. I'm just not high on Georgia. You know this. I think they hit the ball well. I agree. In Hoover, a lot of long ball teams get favored in Hoover. But man, the pitching at Georgia is just such a question mark for me that I can't put them over a Vanderbilt team that's really well-rounded, So give me the Commodores on this one over Georgia or Kentucky. Moving on, we both had Florida playing Arkansas. Who do you think is going to win this one?
I don't know. This is a tough game. I think if it's Ole Miss, it's definitely Arkansas here. But the Florida draw is tough. Being an SEC team, I think watching on Saturday, you're trying to avoid Florida being on your side of the bracket just because they're a really hot team right now and a dangerous underdog. But I'm still going to back the Razorbacks. I think right now, I think they're playing the best baseball in the SEC. I think they're playing better than Texas as of late. I know obviously not the entire season, but they're right up there next to them. I think Arkansas gets it done here against Florida, but I think it's going to be a really good game. I could see it going either way, but I'll take Arkansas.
Yeah, I'm with you there, man. I mean, Florida won the series earlier on, but Arkansas, man, they looked really good against Tennessee. And against LSU, they got run ruled in that game too, but Game 3 they won. In Game 1, they were a strike call away from winning the game. I mean, they had a really controversial strike call. I mean, it was called the ball that would have ultimately ended the inning, but instead LSU ended up going and getting the couple go-ahead runs, or I guess tying up the game where it would go in extra innings. So they really could have won that game against LSU. They could have won that series. That was really a tough series for them. So, yeah, I think Arkansas is going to beat Florida. I think it's going to be a close game. And I wouldn't be shocked if Florida won this game. Florida's a good baseball team, but I'm right there with you. I think Arkansas is playing really good baseball right now, and I think that translates over to Hoover. So I think Arkansas is going to take this game as well. Moving on, we got LSU versus, we both happen to win either Mississippi State or A&M. You said A&M. I said Mississippi State. Who do you think wins if A&M plays LSU?
Yeah, I'll make it quick. I think LSU beats Mississippi State. I think LSU beats Auburn. And I do think LSU beats Texas A&M. But I do think, again, playing for your season means a ton right now. I think 2 wins might get A&M in the field. I don't think it should. But being a big name brand, the preseason #1, you having Chase Lavalette, it's very similar to college basketball. Texas getting in because they're a big name. They're in the SEC, and they had Trey Johnson, a team that should not have got in. I think you see similarity here. I think if A&M wins the first 2 games, I think those 30 wins put them in. So I do think they drop to LSU, but I think you'll still see them in the field as a 3 seed.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Here, I'll talk about Mississippi State, and then I'll talk about A&M and I guess Auburn if Auburn beats Mississippi State or A&M. I think Mississippi State, I think that could be a really interesting matchup, especially if Pico Khan is on the mound. You got Pico versus Cade Anderson. And it was a matchup we were kind of robbed of earlier in the year because Mississippi State saved Pico for Ianson. And that was a really good matchup. But either or, I mean, Mississippi State hit Cade Anderson really well. If Pico's throwing against LSU, I think we could see. I mean, Cade Anderson gives up the long ball, and that's what Mississippi State does. When I say they hit off Cade, they hit off of him really well. I mean, Cade got shelled. That's the only game this year I will say that Cade Anderson got shelled in, and it was against Mississippi State. I don't think Mississippi State's going to win, but they could. They could beat LSU. I mean, LSU ended up sweeping that series, but, I mean, I don't know. If Mississippi State, I mean, they're hot right now. They're not a team I want to play. I think LSU will beat Mississippi State, but, man, if you're looking for an underdog to pick, this Mississippi State team's kind of a team I'd like to ride, and I think especially that extra day's rest will help them out as well. But give me the Tigers over State. Moving on to A&M, if they played LSU, I think same thing. I mean, we got a bad taste in our mouths from when we played A&M. I think we kind of go in there, and I think we shut them down. But at the same time, it could be Lampkin versus Cade. I don't know if y'all will throw Lampkin 4 days off of 120 pitches, but, I mean, maybe, right? I mean, y'all are playing for y'all season. I think
but that'll be Friday. Like, that'll be –
Oh, it is Friday. I'm sorry. Friday, yeah. Friday, yeah.
Or 6 days.
Yeah. So, Friday. Then, yeah. No, y'all probably will throw Lampkin. 120 pitches is still a lot, but that's still a normal rest for Lampkin because he threw Friday, right? Or was it Saturday?
Yeah, he threw Friday, so that's a 6 days rest pitching the 7th day.
Yeah. So if we see Lampkin versus Cade, that would be very interesting. Lampkin pitched really well against most teams this year. I mean, he looked great against LSU. I mean, this weekend he threw a complete game. But Cade Anderson's also the same way. He's a top 3 pitcher in the country, right? So, I mean, he lost against A&M, but that loss wasn't on him. It's because we put in our closing pitcher and we kind of gave up that one. But, that being said, I'm going to ride, with my team. I'm just biased here. I'm going to go with LSU over them. And moving on, we play Auburn. If we did, and I don't think Auburn really will get past A&M or Mississippi State. But if they do, I think LSU beats Auburn too. I mean, we got swept by them earlier on in the season, but, dude, I really want to play this Auburn team again. And I want to play Dutton because I cannot stand that guy. He lost to so many games last year. The fact that he's their ace pitcher really just surprises me. Good for him. I'm glad he's in a better place, making plays. But, man, dude, I'm still heartbroken from when you were at LSU. That's some games, some hours I can't get back from my life. But, yeah, I think LSU beats Auburn. I think it's a clean sweep if they beat whoever they play. A&M could make noise and Mississippi State could – I mean, all three could make noise against LSU. Who do I think is the best chance to beat LSU? I hate to say it, but A&M. They kind of had our number when we played in Bluebell, but at the same time, I don't know. I think an angry, hot A&M team is not a team you want to play. So I think LSU beats all three, but I wouldn't be surprised if A&M did something and beat LSU. Moving on, from my changed pick earlier, I got UT playing Vanderbilt. You have Tennessee playing Georgia. So talk about that matchup and who do you think would win that one?
I don't care what team Tennessee's playing, they're winning the game. I'm taking them to beat Vanderbilt, taking them to beat Georgia, whoever it is. I'll just combine them as a 4. I think Tennessee has the best chance to make it out of those 4. Then Georgia, then Texas, then Vanderbilt. So obviously if it's Texas, Georgia, I'm taking Georgia. But it being Tennessee and Georgia, I'm going to take Tennessee here.
Yeah, I disagree. I see what you're saying. If Tennessee's hot, yeah, but they just been playing really bad baseball lately. I mean, actually, not even bad baseball. I mean, they just haven't been able to close out games, and it's really hurt them. But man, okay, if it's Georgia, UT swept Georgia. I don't think Georgia can hit off of UT's pitching staff. And with it being an SEC tournament, I mean, we could see guys like Volantis maybe get the rock on the mound. I mean, we don't know, right? I mean, UT's got a great pitching staff. I think it'll help them prevail over Georgia. And I guess if Tennessee beats Texas, if it's Tennessee, Georgia, I think Tennessee wins that one. But if it's Tennessee, Vanderbilt, I mean, Vanderbilt won the series against Tennessee 2 series ago. Now, that could have really went either way. I think Tennessee would beat Vanderbilt now if they played them. But at the same time, I don't know. Vanderbilt, they looked really good this past weekend against Kentucky, but I guess. But my matchup, I'm going with this Vanderbilt and Texas, and I think the Horns get it done against Vandy. I think the Horns go into the SEC championship game. I think Vanderbilt, and I think they're going to have, first off, I think it's going to be a really good game versus Tennessee, Texas. That could go either way, and I think it's going to be the same thing with Vanderbilt and UT. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think UT's played Vanderbilt either this year. I mean, they just haven't. I don't think they've played. I could be wrong. Viewers out there, don't be mad if I got that wrong, but I don't think they've played. Yeah, look that up for me, or I can look it up too. I'm not sure, but I don't think they've played this year. So I think UT will get.
They didn't play this year.
Okay, yeah, I didn't want to go ahead and say it and be wrong, but okay. Yeah, they haven't played this year, but still, I think UT's better than Vanderbilt is, and I think Tennessee's better than Vanderbilt is too. Same thing with Georgia. I think whoever wins the Vanderbilt-Georgia game, I don't think they make it to the championship. I think it's going to be Texas or Tennessee. If you said if you think if Texas beats Tennessee, you think they lose to Vanderbilt and Georgia?
Yeah. No. I think they beat Vanderbilt.
I was about to say, you're saying you're anti-Texas here, but you're not even picking them at all.
I think they beat Vanderbilt. I still think Georgia's super hot hitting team right now.
I mean, they are. Georgia is a very good hitting team, but I mean, I don't know. It's like they when they played UT, they couldn't hit at all. Now, granted, Jared Spencer is out now, and that does hurt UT, but UT still got arms that can throw really well. I mean, they got Grubbs, they got Volantis, they've got Ruger's kind of struggled a couple times, but Ruger still is like pitched really well up until the Arkansas series. So yeah, I think UT is going to win against whoever, and I think they move on. Moving on, we both have Arkansas and LSU. I will say this. I think if Vanderbilt or Mississippi State somehow, or not Vanderbilt, if A&M, Mississippi State, or Auburn somehow beat LSU, I think it's the end of the road for them against Arkansas. Would you agree?
No, I mean.
Because then at that point, you would have played 5. Yeah.
Well, I see what you're saying, but honestly, anybody besides South Carolina in this bottom half of the bracket, I could see making the championship.
No, you're right. I'm not arguing with that, but I'm just saying, like, you're going on short rest here, dude. I mean, look, if Florida gets past Arkansas, I don't want to play Florida as an LSU guy. I mean, I don't. But Mississippi State, A&M, and I mean, I don't think Arkansas loses to A&M again, and I think Arkansas beats Mississippi State. And I think Arkansas beats Auburn. Vice versa, I think LSU could lose to Florida, and we could talk about let's talk about Arkansas LSU, right? Because we both have them moving on. So if it's Arkansas and LSU, who do you think wins this matchup?
I think as of late, Arkansas is the better team, but I think LSU is a better baseball club in general. I don't know. I'm super high on LSU. I think Jones, Curiel, they're probably the best 1-2 in the league. I don't know. I would take LSU here, but again, literally anybody on that bottom half of the bracket could make the championship. But just this specific game, I would take LSU, I guess, to beat Arkansas. Yeah,
me too. I know I go to Arkansas, and a lot of my boys watching right now probably don't like that. But, I mean, it's going to be Anthony Ianson on the mound against Arkansas, and I really like him against that lineup. I mean, he looked great when he pitched against them last time. I mean, we run ruled them when we played him. I mean, he he almost threw a complete game. He had, I want to say 11 strikeouts against Arkansas. They just couldn't hit off of him as well. I know there's going to be seeing him a second time in the past, like, what was it, 2 or 3 weekends? But still, I still think LSU is going to pull out with that win with Anthony. But, I mean, if it's Florida, if Florida pulls something and beats Arkansas, at this point, I really don't know what's going to happen if it's a Florida-LSU matchup. I mean, I guess if it was Florida A&M or Florida-Mississippi State, I mean, look, I'm going to be honest. I don't think Mississippi State or Florida or Mississippi State, A&M, or Auburn is going to beat LSU. But if they do, I mean, and it's Florida, that would be you want to talk about crazy, that would be crazy. But I don't know. I don't think it is. I think it's going to be LSU and Arkansas. But I think we could see Florida. I think Florida. Would you agree with this? I think Florida, realistically, on that bottom half of the bracket, has the best chance to make a run to the championship game.
I mean, I think A&M could as well. I'm not just saying that because I'm an A&M fan. I think if they do win 2 games, I think they figured it out and they can start hit. I mean, if they win 2 games, that means they hit the ball.
Dude, the problem is A&M has been so hot and cold this year, man. Like, dude, you guys go and you guys beat Arkansas. You guys go and lose by 3 runs collectively against Texas. And you beat LSU, and then you go and you lose to Missouri. You get swept by Missouri.
But we're not playing Missouri. We're playing those top teams that we've beaten. I mean, we've beaten Tennessee on the road. We beat Arkansas on the road, and then we beat LSU. So I really think that A&M could make a run, but I also think Florida could too. I wouldn't say Florida has an extreme advantage or this, like, I mean, they're the clear dark horse out of the bottom. I think even Mississippi State, like any of those teams, I think have the chance. But I also think that bottom half is going to win the whole thing.
Okay.
Or Tennessee or anyone.
Okay. Before we predict the championship game, which, by the way, I have LSU beating Arkansas or whoever. So I think it'll be LSU, UT. But before we get into that, you're saying right now you think A&M is going to be, if we're talking underdogs here, you think out of all the underdogs, out of all the round 1 games, you think A&M is going to be the team that could make it to the championship out of all of them?
Yeah, A&M or Florida. I mean, those teams are. It's hard. It's so hard to pick one.
If you had to choose one, though, not like.
I don't know if I can because, like, I could see both of those teams playing each other. I would pick A&M, just backing them based on being like going to the school, but like, I do see both of those teams about the same in my eyes, making it to the championship game. Okay,
I think it's going to be Florida. If we're talking the round 1 games, that's just me. But I mean, yeah, I see what you're saying. A&M could. I'm not gonna go out here on air and say A&M is no chance because they do. I mean, realistically, like we said, those bottom half teams outside of South Carolina, any of those teams could, right? Do I think any of them will? No. Florida, the greatest chances, though. Moving on, I've got LSU and UT. You've got Tennessee and LSU. Yeah, you go first, and I'll talk about who I think will win in my championship game. Screw the hypotheticals. If it's what you said happens, it's Tennessee versus LSU in the championship game. Who do you think wins it?
I think there's going to be about 27 runs in this game. Both bats are going to be hot. It's going to be 12-9 LSU. I think LSU gets it done. My Tennessee dreams are over, but it's going to be a hitter's show here with 2 of the best hitting teams in the SEC. That's my pick for LSU versus Tennessee, but I also will say bottom half, whoever makes it out of there is going to win the whole thing.
I agree. LSU UT I think is an interesting matchup here because they'll both be on their Sunday pitchers. And LSU, last time we played Texas on a Sunday, it kind of really went really south for us. With that being said, this ain't the beginning of the year. This is the end of the year. And I think we're in a lot better position than UT is right now. So I think we win, and I think we win convincingly if we play UT. So give me the Tigers. I think the LSU Tigers are going to be the SEC champions. You just agreed with me. You think A&M is going to be the biggest underdog to make it out. I think it's going to be Florida. We both agree. I think the bottom half is a lot more competitive than the top half is going to be. I mean, I don't know. Once you get to Vanderbilt, Tennessee, Georgia, Texas, that's going to be kind of a toss-up, right? But I don't know. I think in general, the bottom half, the later games are going to be more fun to watch. Any thoughts about the SEC tournament before we move on to the ACC?
No, I think we pretty much covered all the matchups. Talked about the dark horses, and then we both. I mean, our pick right now is LSU, but I guess that could change if LSU goes down to A&M, Mississippi State, Auburn. SEC is just it's loaded. So
it is. Okay, moving on for time's sake, we're going to the ACC. Let's try to speed through this one a little bit quicker because I know we just spent 50 minutes on the SEC, which is well-deserved. I mean, the CWS champion is going to be out of the SEC. Anyways, moving on to the ACC. We've got game one. We've got Miami versus California. Who do you think takes that one?
Hurricanes, pretty dominantly.
Yeah, I agree. Moving on, we got Virginia Tech and Stanford. I think this is an interesting matchup here. Who do you think is going to win this one?
I like this VTech team. For some reason, I think they've played pretty well lately. I'll take VTech.
I got Stanford here. I just think they're a better program in general than Virginia Tech is, and I disagree. I'm not that high in Virginia Tech, but you know what? We'll see. But I've got Stanford actually moving on in this one. Moving down, we've got Louisville and Pittsburgh. Who do you think is going to win that one?
Again, Louisville dominantly, but this is a really bad draw for Duke. And I'm a Duke guy, and I really did not like the matchup against Louisville, getting them in the second round. But Louisville should be Pitt pretty sizably.
Yeah, I agree. I think Louisville is going to put BTA to Pittsburgh. We got Notre Dame, Boston College. I'm just going to go ahead and say this. I'd be very surprised if BC beat Notre Dame. But then again, I don't think either team's that good. I'm going to be honest. So I think it's kind of a game that nobody's really going to watch, but I guess I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to watch this game. I'll be watching.
At the same time, A&M's playing Mississippi State.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not, maybe I'll have it on another TV, maybe kind of look at it every now and then, but even then we're going to look at the Big 12 bracket. I don't know who will be playing it this time, but I'll probably rather watch that matchup than this one, but I got Notre Dame. Who do you have?
I got Notre Dame too. Boston College is bad.
Yeah, you're 100% right. Okay, so we've got Miami, Wake Forest. I want to say Miami won the series early on in the year, but I'm kind of off my Miami high horse now. I think Wake is a better team, and I think Wake could make a run.
Yeah, so, I got Wake for sure in this game.
Yeah, I agree. Moving on, you had Virginia Tech, I had Stanford. Either or, I think Clemson wins.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, Clemson wins here. They seem to kind of struggle late, though, because we did have them as the top.
We did.
One of the top ACC teams. They've fallen off a bit, but they'll definitely get the ball rolling against VTech or Stanford.
Moving on, both have Louisville versus Duke. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this because you're a Duke guy, and Duke was a team that we were high on, and then we got really low on because they had a terrible start. But now they've kind of gotten hot again, right? So who do you think is going to win this? And Louisville also is a good baseball team, and they beat UT earlier on in the year. Who do you think is going to win, Louisville and Duke?
I think it's Duke, and it's not a homer pick either. They lead the nation in walks. AJ Gracia is hitting the lights out of the ball right now. He's hitting, I think it was 560 in the last 20 games. That's insane. The teams don't even pitch to him anymore. They just walk them. And then Ben Miller, best mustache in college baseball. So I got Duke here beating Louisville, but it's a good matchup because Louisville is a pretty good team.
Yeah, I'm with you there, man. I think Duke is going to win this one. But, I mean, their pitching hasn't been amazing. So if their pitching kind of gets them in a hole, Louisville has been known to capitalize. I mean, they capitalized when they played UT. They've capitalized in multiple series this year. Yeah, I think Duke's going to – you know what? Nah. Yeah, no, I'm going to go with Duke. Yeah, you thought, right? No, I'm going to go with Duke. Moving on, we got Virginia, Notre Dame. As much as I hate to say it, Virginia's moving on next round.
Yep.
I mean, I don't think they're going to host, though, so that's good. Virginia will be moving on, though. Moving on, we both have Georgia Tech versus Wake Forest. I've got Wake here. Georgia Tech hasn't really played anybody. I mean, they've played kind of an easy schedule. They've had a cakewalk. They weren't even ranked, and they won the ACC. I mean, let that sink in. They didn't play Florida State. They didn't play Clemson. I don't think they played North Carolina. Or no, they did play Clemson, actually. Georgia Tech played Clemson, but they didn't play North Carolina. They didn't play those juggernaut teams like Clemson did, right? So give me Wake Forest over Georgia Tech here.
Yeah, I got Wake Forest too. I think it's gonna be a close game, but then Georgia Tech's gonna go to their grad closer Mason Patel. I think I could go out and hit Mason Patel. His stats are, I mean, they're
no,
great.
You're not wrong. He's not very good. I'm just laughing.
But great, dude. But like every time he gets in the game, he throws the same sinker in the dirt that I don't know why people swing or why.
Hey, reminds me of Johnny Hummel, but Johnny Hummel got the job done.
Johnny Hummel got the job done. But this Patel guy, man, he'll walk you every time if you don't swing the bat. But yeah, I'm gonna take Wake Forest in this game.
Yeah, I think Wake Forest is a team that we could see maybe, go pretty deep. And I think they have already, in our bracket, they already are going deep. So it's nothing to take away from Georgia Tech, regardless of if it's Patel that goes in the game or not. It doesn't matter. I think Wake Forest is just, I think they tend to get hot around this time of the year. I know last year they kind of, wet themselves. But, I mean, I don't know, dude. Wake Forest is a good baseball program. And Georgia Tech's going to be a good – I don't know. We'll see how they do when it comes to, the field of 64. I'm higher on them than you are. But I don't know. I'm also pretty high on Wake Forest this year too. So give me Wake to beat Georgia Tech. We've got Clemson against NC State. This is an interesting one because I want to say NC State won that series against Clemson. Who do you think is going to win this one?
I'm not even sure, but this is the ugliest top half of a bracket I've ever seen. Like, look at the bottom, dude. Florida State, North Carolina, Duke, Virginia. I mean, those teams are much better than NC State and Clemson. I'll take Clemson here solely based on the fact that they are in the game, and I think that they've like gotten to the rhythm. That's the only reason I'm taking Clemson here because it's real toss up between Clemson and NC State.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna take Clemson here too. I got a couple boys that are big NC State baseball guys, but yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. I think Clemson's gonna win this one. I think they're a better team. Not taken away from NC State. I know they will have had the double bye, but I don't think that matters. I think Clemson's a better team. Moving on, we both got Duke versus Florida State. I think Duke's gonna beat Florida State. I do. Florida State, I mean, they were playing North Carolina last week, but, man, they got kind of trampled on. If that translates at all over to this tournament, they're going to have a really rough, really quick in and out in that tournament. So they got to get it together. If they get it together, yeah, I think they beat Duke. But I don't think they will. I think Duke's going to win. What about you?
Yeah, I think Duke wins here too. It's an exciting game for me, though, because Florida State is a good offensive team, but they haven't looked good as of late. So I think Duke capitalizes on that, just being the hotter team as of late right now.
Moving on, North Carolina, Virginia. Do we even need to talk about this game? Virginia's going to get absolutely squashed on. Come on, boy. North Carolina, baby. Let's ride. What do you think?
Yeah, I hate UNC. I'm a Duke guy. But it's clear cut UNC here. I wish they still had Vance Honeycutt though, make it more fun to watch.
I know. Oh man, Vance Honeycutt was so good.
But yeah, I'm taking the Tar Heels. I hate to say that, but
moving on, we both got Wake Forest against Clemson. Who do you think wins this one? I got Wake here.
Really, me too. Demon Deacons.
I got Wake here. I can see Wake Forest making a run in this tournament, and I think they beat Clemson. That's really a big, stretch for them to go on, but I think they do it. And you agree with me, you said?
Yeah, it's not really that big of a stretch because the teams that they're playing aren't that good. And then they're going to play Georgia Tech on Thursday. They'll get a day off and then play Saturday. So I think, playing two, resting a game, and then coming back for a third, I think that's going to help them out. I think Wake Forest wins, makes the championship.
Okay. Now we would have had Duke versus North Carolina. North Carolina's going to win. Give me the Tar Heels. Come on, man. I mean, dude, you're nodding your head. Duke is good. They're playing on less rest than North Carolina is, and North Carolina just is coming off of a massive series win against Florida State. I think they're going to do it again. I think they're going to potentially win this, or not potentially. Screw that. I don't see a world where Duke wins. I'm going to be honest. I don't. I think North Carolina is going to run rule them. I think North Carolina is going to – they beat them earlier on in the season. I think they do the same thing. It doesn't matter. It's the Tar Heels, baby.
No, and that's where you're wrong because I think Tennessee has a better chance to run rule Texas than Duke has or than UNC.
No. Tennessee is no.
Yeah, way. Dude. Okay, so Duke, again, their pitching is bad. Like really bad, like Missouri level bad. No, better than Missouri. But anyway, they can hit the ball. They draw walks well. I don't know. I think they're a tournament type team. Like I think they play better in tournaments. I think wherever they get put in the regional, I think they make it out unless they obviously get an SEC 1 seed. But this Duke team is legit, and I think 7 is very underseeded for them. I know they it's not really seeding; it's their record, but it hadn't proved well. I think they're better than a 7 seed, and I think they beat North Carolina here and make the championship.
No, I don't know. We're going to have to agree to disagree on that one. Moving on, I have Wake Forest, North Carolina. I think North Carolina wins that. I think North Carolina is going to be your ACC champions. With that being said, if it's Duke, Wake Forest, give me Wake Forest. I don't think Duke is going to win this tournament. I don't. I think it's a stretch to say they beat Florida State. I'm just doing it because I like the underdog. You know what I mean? So give me North Carolina to win this whole thing. But if it's Duke, give me Wake. What about you?
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Blue Devils here, and I don't know why. I'm
feeling. Didn't they win it last year though, or am I tripping? Who was that won it last year? I thought Duke won it last year because
it was Florida State because Duke played Florida State in the double elim. I think it was Florida State, if I'm not mistaken. You can look that up.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now.
But it wasn't Duke because I know they lost to Florida State for sure.
Wait. Oh, no, that's talking about basketball. Hold up. It was Duke. Who won the 2024? No, they won it. That's what it's saying.
Okay, then maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was the double elim that they lost and then came back and won.
Yeah, no, because I remember they won, and then we were like, oh, snap. And when we did our regional predictions last year, Duke, they completely, I don't know what they just didn't show up for the regionals, So, because I remember they won the ACC tournament.
Oh, okay. No. You're right. I mean, obviously they said it was right, but they had lost to Florida State, I believe, earlier in the tournament, and then they came back and won.
Yeah,
I know that it shows that they beat Florida State 16-4 last year.
Yeah,
but
and
obviously they were a much better team last year. That last year's team should have made it out of the regional. They could have even made it to Omaha. They were that good. But then they returning Gracia and Ben Miller, so I'm excited.
I don't know about Omaha, but you know what? That's last year. It is what it is. Yeah, I mean, you think Duke will win this one? I think North Carolina. We both got the North Carolina schools taking this one. I mean, Wake Forest as well. They could, but I just think it's the end of the road for them. And also, let me put this on record here. Florida State has a very good shot of winning this tournament as well. I don't want you guys thinking that we're completely discrediting Florida State. This is just what we think is going to happen. Florida State could beat any team in this field. They could. But we don't think they will. But Florida State is a very good baseball team and can beat anybody on any given day. They deserve to be a top 16 seed and a double host. But yeah, no, I think North Carolina. Any more thoughts on the ACC tournament before we move on to the Big 12?
No, I do think it'll be a good tournament from the bottom half, but I'm not really excited watching those top half games.
Yeah, no, I'm not either. Okay. Well, Let me get this pulled up here. Okay, Big 12 tournament. We've got BYU versus Arizona State first game. Who do you think takes this?
Yeah, one note, this one doesn't start till Wednesday because the field is pretty small. I didn't even realize Big 12 was
Yeah,
small.
I'm looking right now. It is.
But yeah, I
mean,
know
UCF
they
didn't make the tournament.
Yeah, they cut 4 teams or whatever because Utah, UCF. Anyway, BYU, Arizona State. I think Arizona State gets this one done pretty easily. I don't think BYU is very good at all, and Arizona State isn't that bad.
No, they're not. I think Arizona State's going to win as well. Moving on, Cincinnati and Texas Tech. Who do you think is going to win this one?
Dude, I think the Red Raiders win, and I know they're the favorite here, I guess, being the 9 seed against the 11. They've turned it around a little bit. I mean, I wouldn't say turn it around, I guess, but they're halfway there because they started out awful, and I think they beat Cincinnati here.
I disagree. I think Cincinnati's the kind of team that can beat in the Big 12. Let me put that on record. Can beat anybody. I think Cincinnati's going to win this one. I think it's going to be a good game. But yeah, I got the Bearcats here over the Red Raiders. Moving on, we've got Oklahoma State versus Baylor. Who do you have winning this one?
Yeah, dude, what happened to this program? Oklahoma State used to be, I mean, top of the line baseball. Like this used to be their thing, and they've.
No, you're 100% right. I don't know what happened either, dude.
This year they were ranked pretty high. I mean, they were the favorites to win the Big 12. But yeah, I'm gonna take Oklahoma State based on a couple of those facts that they're the better team. They're definitely better than Baylor.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Baylor here. Actually, I like Baylor. I think they're good. I think they're a better baseball team than people think. So I think Baylor is gonna win this one. I think it could go either way, though. I think this is going to be a good game. But I think Baylor is going to beat Oklahoma State. I just think they're better than Oklahoma State is. Oklahoma State's really struggled this year. Not saying Baylor hasn't, but I think Baylor is going to win this game. Moving on, Houston and K-State. I don't know about you, but I think K-State should be the winner of this one.
Rolls.
I do too.
They're going to kill Houston.
Yeah. Moving on, we got Arizona versus Arizona State. I think Arizona's going to win this one, but Arizona State could win this one too. But I think Arizona is a little bit better baseball team. I mean, this is still a team that a lot of people were high on at the beginning of the year. I know they kind of disappointed, but they're not a bad baseball team at the end of the day. They just weren't what everyone thought. But yeah, give me Arizona here. What about you?
I'm taking State. I watched a couple of games on them. They can hit the ball. I wouldn't count them out of any game. Especially in the Big 12. I'll take State.
Yeah, it's a rivalry baseball team too, or baseball game too, right? Like these two teams, no love lost. They've been playing each other for years now, in-state rivalry. But yeah, no, I think Arizona's going to win. I just think they're more of a baseball school in general. I like their baseball culture more, and I just think they're a better team. But I don't think that's a bad pick. Arizona State could win, but give me Arizona here. Moving on, you had Texas Tech. I had Cincinnati. I think West Virginia's going to win either way. West Virginia's dominated all year. Give me West Virginia. Do you have any objections? You're nodding your head. I don't think you do, but
well, when we talk about run rules, this is the game I think you see it for sure.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Texas Tech, I guess maybe could do something if they did beat Cincinnati, but probably not. West Virginia is pretty much a lock on this one. You got Oklahoma State. I got Baylor against Kansas. Who do you think is going to win, Oklahoma State and Kansas?
I'm going to go with the Cowboys. The Pope.
You know what's crazy? I was about to say the Bears are going to beat Kansas.
Yeah,
that was my upset of the tournament.
I don't think Kansas is very good. So
they're a 2 seed, and they've won games, and a lot of people, give them their credit, kudos. But this is, at the end of the day, this is a conference tournament. Upsets are going to happen.
Yeah,
I don't think Oklahoma State beats Kansas, though. I'm going to be honest, but I'm just really low on Oklahoma State.
I'm low on Kansas, but I think Oklahoma State, like their second home is Globe Life because they seem to play there every single year, and this is where the tournament's being held. OK State fans travel well, and there's quite a bit of them around here. I think they'll show out well, and I think Oklahoma State gets 2 wins here.
Yeah, I got Baylor over Kansas, but then again, Kansas is a good baseball team, or not good, or they are good for Big 12, but they're not going to make any noise in the field of 64. Doesn't really matter, but yeah, I got Baylor here, but Kansas probably could and should win those games, but I'm just picking for an upset here, and I think it'll be Baylor. He thinks Oklahoma State. Moving on, TCU and Kansas State. Who do you think is going to win this one?
This is a tough game because K-State's look. I mean, they're
K-State's just up and down, man. Like they're scrappy. Like this is the same team that took LSU to extra innings earlier on in the year. You know, this is the same team that beat Arkansas, but this is also the same team that got swept by UCF. You know, this team is they have highs, but they have some really low lows. You know.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the same with TCU. Their record is a lot better than it showed because they play so many close games and they can't pitch. I'm gonna take the Frogs just because it's a home field. Kansas. I mean, I don't know. TCU can hit the ball. I'll take TCU here.
Yeah, I've been saying this for a while now. Give me K-State, man. I went to a K-State LSU baseball game earlier on in the year, and that K-State fan base gets rowdy. I will say that. The whole time they're over here heckling their coach. Stick to the basics, Pete. Like they're heckling him. I mean, look, this K-State fan club, they get into it. And I think they're going to travel to Globe Life as well. And I think they beat TCU. I think Kansas State is going to make some magic happen in this tournament. And I think they're going to beat the Horned Frogs here. I mean, TCU could win, but give me Kansas State here. Moving on. You've got A-State. I've got Arizona. We both have West Virginia. If it's Arizona State, do you think they beat West Virginia?
No, I don't think either team beats them. And it's not because West Virginia is so good. It's because they're so good in the Big 12. Like they're not I don't think they're that good of a baseball team outside of this, but the Big 12 is a clear step down from the SEC and the ACC. So I'm going to take West Virginia. But really anybody could win.
Yeah, no, I'm taking West Virginia over them as well. I guess you have Oklahoma State. I have Baylor. You have TCU. I have K-State. So in your matchup, you've got Oklahoma State versus TCU. Who wins that one?
I think TCU. I think OK State's rodents here. And TCU can hit the ball. So I'm going to take them.
I've got K-State beating Baylor. So we're going to have you're going to have – I guess we'll both have West Virginia. You're going to have TCU. I have K-State. Who do you think wins between West Virginia and TCU?
Dare I say TCU? I mean, the fact that they can hit the ball, but they're really bad. Okay, they're really bad in Big 12 tournaments. Like,
yeah, they are.
This year they were awful. Like,
yeah, they were. I mean, they kind of screwed themselves because they could have maybe made the field of 64 last year, but they didn't do well enough in their conference tournament.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to go full bounce back. I think they win it and they host.
Yeah, no, I'm going to take K-State over West Virginia. I think K-State gets themselves in the tournament with the win here. I think they shock the world, and I think they become a team that you don't want in your bracket. So give me K-State to win the Big 12 here, shocking the world. I know that's crazy. They may not even make it past round one, but you know what? I think they're going to do it, and I think it's going to be a fun tournament to watch for them. So give me the Wildcats. Moving on. Big Ten, we're not really going to talk about the tournament. I think it should be Oregon or UCLA. I think it's going to end up being Oregon. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a weird pool format, so it's kind of like it really is a toss-up because you're playing two games and getting seeded, and if you go 1-1, it's based off run differential. So you really could just see some things that are crazy. Oregon should win. I mean, they're the number one team. UCLA is 2, and those are really the only teams that I see making any noise in regionals and when you look down the line. So I'll take either Oregon or UCLA to win the tournament.
Yeah, same here. Nebraska could make something shake. So could USC, I think. I mean, both teams are – I don't know. I don't think it's really going to happen. The Big Ten's been they just aren't very good. Whenever Iowa's like one of your top teams,
they're third seed, dude. Like,
you're not really that great. Big Ten has been I'm not even going to say disappointment because I think they're always bad, but they just aren't very good. They're definitely the worst of out of the power conferences. Moving on, let's talk about the Sun Belt here. We could see, we could see this, we may not, but Coastal Carolina and Southern Miss in the conference championship is like a winner hosts kind of game. Who do you think would win that if they play each other?
I got Coastal.
I do too. And
I like Coastal.
I'm never gonna pick Southern Miss though. I mean, I'm just not. I don't think they're as good as people say. I don't. I think they're overrated. They don't play anybody. They don't. And whoever wins this game, whoever hosts, Coastal might get out of their own regional. But I'm telling you right now, Southern Miss won't. And I hope LSU or Arkansas is paired with Southern Miss if they host, just so we can send them home if they do make it out of their own regional.
Yeah, and I hope that A&M gets in the tournament, gets the 3 seed, gets paired with the 2 seed from the ACC, and the 1 is Southern Miss or Coastal, preferably Southern Miss, because they're not a very good baseball team. But that would just be a dream. I mean,
it would.
I think whoever gets matched up there is loving everything about it.
I will say though, Hattiesburg is a tough place to play. They do pack those stands, but we're not talking about the field of 64 yet. We both think Coastal, but Southern Miss could win. Any more thoughts before we wrap this thing up on any of the games or any teams that you think could surprise anybody? Anything like that?
No, not really. I mean, we got the Patriot League Championship Series tonight, Game 2, Army Holy Cross.
Oh, shit. Oh, I do this every podcast, bro. Every podcast. Damn. Okay.
Hey, Holy Cross, man. They won 12-1 the first game, best of 3 series. Maybe they're the Oral Roberts of the tourney.
No way. But you know what? Hey, we can dream, right? Oh, let me shout out a team real quick. UTSA. I think they're gonna win their conference tournament. I think they're gonna win their conference tournament, and I think they're also going to be a very tough team for whoever gets them in that field of 64. I think UTSA out of all the mid-majors is actually the best. I think they're better than Southern Miss and Coastal Carolina. I think they're better than DBU. That's just me. I know somebody who plays on the team, so maybe I'm a little biased, but I also watched them. They beat UT. You know what I mean? Didn't they play A&M? They beat A&M as well, did they not? Or am I tripping?
I don't think they did. I know they lost to Texas State. That might be who you're thinking of, but
maybe. But UTSA is a good ball club, and I think they actually beat UT.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. They did beat A&M 7.
Okay, bet. Yeah, that's what I thought. I know it was earlier on in the season though, but yeah. I think UTSA is going to be a fun team to watch, and I definitely will watch them. I think. Yeah, I'm just excited. Starting Tuesday, I'm going to have 3 TVs downstairs. I'm going to be watching all the games. I recommend you guys do that as well. First game's at 8 o'clock ACC, right?
Miami and Cal, 8 o'clock Tuesday.
First game in the SEC is at 9:30. So tune in, guys. We appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you guys drop a like, leave a comment on the video, subscribe. We appreciate you guys taking the time. Get ready. It's finally that time of the year, guys. Best time of the year. So we appreciate you guys. Out.
See y'all next week for regional, or whenever they put the brackets out, we'll be back for some regional coverage. So stay tuned. See y'all.